What's up, my folks? How are y'all doing? Yet another one. I'm gonna drop another one, and then this weekend I'm gonna try to do some interviews. But I'm gonna drop a video about dirty tricks in the dogs, dirty things that people used to do in the dogs. Because a lot of shit's just I don't know. I grew up with older guys. They always told me to watch out for this shit, and and then sometimes too. In the dogs, the more experience you get in it, more people you're around, you hear more things. Some of them's bullshit, some of them's true, and some of them you just got, if you were right there and live what it happened. Sometimes you couldn't believe your lying eyes. Okay, that's just the truth. Okay, I'm gonna tell you some of the dirties that people used to do while we're burning shit off around here. All right, for one, we'll start with the breeding. Okay, breeding dogs. Now, you got to understand, during the late 90s, that was probably the heyday as far as like stud fees and starting real good money for puppies. I mean, a stud fee on a champion was $1,000 in the 90s. I mean, and that was a lot more money back then. I'd be probably like $2,500 worth of money now, So there was a lot of shit you had to watch out for back then, okay? I mean, there was always a crook. Always a crook. Remember, they'll fuck you and they'll lie to you. Okay, and they'll fuck you right in front of you while you're helping them do it. All right, the trick now this one, I've always heard this trick. People used to talk shit about Paul McDaniels, but Paul was a hell of a dog, man, and he was actually a very cool guy. But he was the one telling me about this shit that people used to do. And then I got a phone call from Derek Williams. Derek Williams was Little Ron's yard boy and helper and all that. And, he's a man now. Now he just kind of come clean and told me everything they did. I mean, he had it right down to the fucking time frame, the dates, the time, all the shit, the dogs, everything. I mean, the man don't have no reason to lie to me about it. He was there. He don't fuck with the dogs anymore. He just, I'm just telling you, he told me, he said he just felt like getting it off his chest. And he told me, and it was some of them old school dirty tricks that, that they used to do in that area. You'll help them. You'll go in there and you'll pay them. Buck was demanding, I think, $1,000 stud fee back then. So, but now, a lot of the champions back then, their testes were toasted. No one knew anything about no fucking post-treatment cycling. You know what I mean? Nothing. All they knew was testosterone, Winstrol, and Deca for bitches. That was it, okay? And so a lot of them dogs, they didn't come out well. I think Sparky was the first dog that they figured out the shit around there. And he had to go to the damn University of Florida and shit. I think it was University of Florida or somewhere. But I know it was a college. They had to do a bunch of work and they figured it out. But back then there was a lot of dogs that's nuts was fried. Okay? Couldn't produce. But that doesn't mean that motherfucker won't fuck. And he won't hang up in a bitch. Now he'll breed her. He just won't impregnate her. Alright? Y'all gotta understand that. You go there and he says, okay, let's get old Bulldog over here, old Champion over here. You got my money? Yep. I'm gonna put my money in my pocket. Let's breed old Champion over here. Hey, won't you leave him, man? You're local. Just leave him right here and let me get a couple more sticks with him and then come back and get her in about a week. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And when you go back, you'll leave an old Champion Bulldog over there on him. But I bet your ass when time you ain't there, him and his yard boy or his helpers breeding the fuck out of him to something that can produce. Okay? You've seen it with your own eyes. You know the breeding took place. You're happy. You're raising them dogs and everything is good. But you don't even know. They just lied to you, took your money and lied to you and stole your truth. I'm just saying that went on a lot. Okay? Another thing is them, like champions. How they used to make champions all the time. When I say make champions, I mean it. They make champions. I mean, I showed several of them to Georgia. When the last few of them, I said, watch, they're going to make this dog a champion. And what they do is they get... Well, I'll tell you the last one I seen. The last few of them. One of them was they took him on a dog that ain't even been out for 10 minutes. And then the other one, they took him on one, and the agreement was supposed to just be an off the chain affair, like an off the chain. And one guy came off the chain and they didn't, but that was their win. They, you know, that was just an agreement. It was a wait and date, and they both did that. And then the third time, a boy that I knew that I bred a dog to, I bred his dog up, and he had it, and he give it to the fucking enemy to work and hook and condition and all that, and all they did was put him in a crate. They told me, now this is another group, they told me afterwards what he did, because they didn't want that dog to win, and the other one was making champion. They put him in a fucking crate, and they gave him chicken broth for 3 days, only walking him out to piss and shit, and the motherfucker still took over 2 hours to get it done. On that old weak ass just game that's kept him in there, you know. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit that you see with your eyes. You see this. You've seen that dog make that champion title. But is it really? Is it fucking really? I'm just saying, guys. Don't believe your lying eyes. You can't believe your lying eyes a lot of times. Just like looks at dogs. That trips me out how people look at dogs and say, oh, he don't look about much. And that son of a bitch will be a monster. Might be a narrow-headed fucker. Look like a Doberman head. Bite fucking hogs' heads right off their shoulders kind of mouth. You can't tell what a motherfucking bulldog is until you put him in the woods. He can look like a beast. Man, I had some Hollingsworth dogs way back then from them. That motherfuckers look beautiful. I mean, big fat heads, big old muscles, big bones. They couldn't bite a fucking basketball and deflate it. Just junk. You know? You can't tell by looks neither. You gotta fucking understand these things, guys. And you gotta be careful when you're, you know, you can only believe what you believe. But the more experience you have around something, and the more you're like actually around it, the more you hear it. You know, you'll hear all kinds of stories. Every champion's got a story. Every dog line's got a fucking thing. But when the guys that are there that actually did it, that did the wrong deed, they know it's wrong. That's what he was getting it off his chest. Know the shit's wrong and tell you what they do. It's hard not to believe them motherfuckers. And when you seen what they did and people tell you what they did to dogs, to title other dogs, you tend to believe them motherfuckers. You know? And that was always the thing. They make their champions. They just make them with, bullshit champions and shit like that. That's what all the old timers would say about somebody else. Okay, that was the thing. Back then, they would try to keep you away from everybody. Like if you was hanging out with them, buying puppies from them, whatever fucking one. They didn't want you to go see nobody else's dogs. I'm just telling you, that's how they acted. And they talk shit about them, and you people would get to believing it and think they have some right to act some kind of way to somebody that they didn't even didn't even know the motherfuckers. That's kind of how it was at first with Paul and I. And then we got to meet each other, and I liked the shit out of him. He fucking did me right, and Josh right. I got my house broke into, and we got our guns stolen. This little bastard stole our fucking guns out of the gun cabinet the day before hunting season. Get that shit. The day before hunting season, we were at a hunting party, and come back, and my shit was gone. Talk about a kick in the nuts. About 2 days, 3 to 4 days later, Paul asked if we had any guns stolen. Yep, and he brought them back to us. So what he had, now the little bastard kept my 30-06 and scraped the finish off, but I beat his ass in Winn-Dixie for it in a food line in the deli. But it was a dirty fucking game back then, guys. Yeah, this motherfucker would come to the house, act like your friend, and steal from you. Shit like that. Y'all don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, you don't be gullible in these dogs. And it's still just as dirty. But I'm just telling you how some of the shit that they do, that's what I mean. You gotta get out there and get the dogs and see if you like them yourself. That's all you can do with them. And see if you like them. If you like them, it doesn't matter. But don't get caught up in the bullshit now. And don't get caught up thinking smug shit, because them motherfuckers was sneaky and good at it, and do it in front of you. Like Mary covered for that little bastard, would not tell on him till the end. That's why I quit being friends with her, and I fucking forgave her and called her. I never even asked her about it again, because I just didn't want to bring it up. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck it, it's done. You know what I'm saying? But she was game to the end on a son of a bitch that she hated. You know, you gotta respect somebody like that. I'll give her that. But I'm just saying, it's a dirty game. You can't believe them lying eyes. Y'all take care and keep on bulldogging.